What is going on, fellow web developers? My name is Tyler Potts, and in today's tutorial we're going to be continuing our Discord.js application or bot, and in this episode we're going to basically create slash commands. We're going to register a slash command, and then we're going to also create a slash command handler that will actually handle every single command, so we don't have to keep registering individual commands. So without further ado, let's get on with the rest of the video. So I wanted to show you guys the actual features we want to actually include in this bot, and here they all are here. So you can see we have auto roll, ranked, level, voice commands, new video, graphical user interface, which will be a web, that'll be a separate build. User stats, mini games, introducing new members, members only command. So members only commands means that I currently have memberships available on my channel. If you go below it, you'll see a little join button. You can click to see all the membership options I have. Now, members have a special Discord role in my server, which gives them a special room to get direct access to me. Now, what I want to do is I want to create some commands that are helpful to members and also give them some extra benefits, so they get some extra perks and some extra fun to have in my server for being a member and supporting the channel. So that's what members only are. We don't have showcase commands, which actually enough are specific to my community. And then we have the music player, which is quite a highly requested one. A lot of people want to know how you create a music player which will join your VC and actually play music for you. I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to try to also do voice commands back to it. So this is just a guess. We may not be able to pull this off, but what I do, I want a music player, and I want to be able to just say next song, or ghost, next song, ghost, stop, ghost, pause, ghost, do this, ghost X, Y, and Z. So I want to be able to just say to it to do a bunch of different features. Now there's some other features here, but these are going to be for a different video for not just the Discord bot, so we won't look at those right now. So let's minimize this and let's go back to Discord. So in the previous video, we set up the bot to be able to go ping. He's currently offline, so I need to go start him. So in here, we're just going to say npm run def. Again, if you haven't seen the previous video, I recommend go checking it out so you understand what's going on here. But otherwise, you don't necessarily need it if you know how to set up a bot and set up a basic command. So what we're going to do now is ping, and we should get pong, and there you go. That's our bot set up and ready to go. So in this one, I want to set up a ping slash command instead of a message command. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go down to here, and I'm just going to remove this. Client on message.create. Yeah, so we don't need that command anymore. I just want to get rid of that. Now, before we can use slash commands, we actually need to kick our bot from the Discord server. And that's because I actually made a mistake. So if we kick Ghost, just kick him, see you later, Ghost. We now need to go back to our developer portal. So on our developer portal, we can go to our application, go into OAuth2, and if you scroll down, you can see we have bots and also commands here. So last time we only invited the bot scope. We now need to add applications.commands because that gives us access to slash commands in our server. We also want to give him administrator like last time. And now we just want to basically copy, paste, and let him join our server. So this will allow the developer of Ghost CT2 create slash commands in the server, microbrew some local kombucha. So that's, yeah, won't let me do that. Anyway, continue. Administrator, cool, authorize. I am a human. And there you go. So that is now installed and ready to go. He should be back in our server. He is. I'm just going to add a little bot boys thing to him just so he looks cooler. And there we go. He's now in and ready to go. So now we need to basically install some new variables. So let's just stop our bot from running right now. And we just need to say npm I, and we need to install three different things. We need to install Discord.js /rest. We then need to install Discord -API -types. And then we need to also install our @Discord.js /builders. And I'll explain each one of these, what we're adding to the server once we actually come around to actually using it. So let's just add these, and this will now hopefully up to date and done. Oh, apparently I already had them installed. I probably did this earlier. So they're already installed for me, but once yours are done, they should take a couple of minutes and then that should be ready. So let's just clear this now. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to require the new things up the top here. So we're going to say const rest. So we actually need to pull out the rest equal to require. And we're just going to say at discord.js/rest. We then need to get root, which is equal to require. And we're going to get this from Discord API types /v9. And that's going to give us version 9. And that's a root. We also need collections from our Discord. So make sure you have these all imported. And once they're all imported, it should now start looking like this. Oh, and there's one more we need. We need to get FS, which you don't need to install a module because it's built into Node, but FS is actually the file system. It allows us to access files on our computer. So once we've done that, we now need to actually get underneath client, we need to basically get all the commands, and we're going to have every single command in its own file. So we're going to create a folder called commands, and inside here we can say ping.js. Now this isn't going to work yet. We're going to need to add stuff to this, but just leave it like that for now. Just so you can see that's how the structure is going to be. So now we need to get every single command we put in here that ends with .js so we can actually register them across the Discord's registry, REST API to use /commands. So we need to say const command files is equal to, and there you go, fs.read the sync command. So we're getting in the commands folder, and then we're going to filter through each file, and we're going to get the file which ends, every single file that ends with .js. So if it doesn't end with .js, we won't be getting it, because that means it's not the right file. If you're using TypeScript, obviously you'll probably want to swap this to TS instead of JS, but just so you're aware, that's what we're doing here. So we're going to say const commands is actually going to be equal to an empty array, because we're going to need a separate array. And then we're going to need to also get our client.commands. And we're going to set that equal to a new collection of commands. Let's also close it. Oh, not full screen it, please. Close it. And then we're going to loop through our command file. So we're going to say for const file, also that should be a lowercase c, in or off command files. We're then going to say require the file. So we're going to say command is equal to require the actual command. So we're going to get what we export from ping. And then we're going to say commands.push, and it's going to be a command.data.toJSON. So this will make more sense once we actually fill out this file, but we're basically going to be having data in there which we need to convert to JSON to actually use it. We're then going to say client.commands.set commands.data.name and command. So this will allow us to actually call this /command once we actually register it. So there we go. So this is going to be the name and the data we need. So there we go. We've got basically our file, our commands, and also our array, and a bunch of other stuff here, which is basically just getting all our files. And this is basically our command handler. So this is how it's going to do. We're just going to create a file in here, which is going to have all the functionality we need. And now we need to register it. So how do you register it? We need to go into client.once. And because we only want this to be called once. So once it's ready, once your bot is live, we want it to only call it once. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say const client_id is equal to, and we could store the client ID in our .env file, but we actually have it to hand because we actually got the client ready. So we're going to say client.user.id, and that's going to get our current bot's client ID, which is what we need to actually set up some /commands for this bot. We then want to say const rest, which is going to be equal to a new rest, and it's going to take in our an object which has version 9, because that's what we're currently using. Because up here you see we imported version 9, so we need to make sure the version 9 is set. And then we need to say .set token to our Discord token, which is going to be process.env.token, like the one below. So this is actually going to be our bots token, which we got in the last video and we stored in .env. Now after the rest, I'm just going to say async. I'm then going to set it equal to an arrow function. And we're basically just going to have to try and catch in here. So we're going to first try to basically set the commands. And if that fails, we'll basically just throw an error. So we'll just say if process.env is equal to production. So if we set a variable called production, that means we're going to set these rest commands or the slash commands globally. But you don't want to do that unless it is ready to go, because else you can get yourself banned from using the slash commands if you keep re-registering them. So we're just going to say await rest dot put, and then we're going to say roots dot. So we got roots from up here, or root. That should be roots. And then, so we're going to say roots dot application command, and we're going to pass through the client ID, and this is how you set it globally. So if you wanted to set this locally to a guild, you would also pass through a guild ID. However, we're going to set this globally because this is going to be our live environment. Then going to do a comma, and we're just going to say body is equal to commands. So what we're doing here is we're getting our list of commands, and we're actually going to set it to our body. We're then just going to console.log successfully registered commands, and then I'm just going to put globally here, just so we know that one's globally. And then we're just going to say else await rest. We're going to do the exact same thing essentially. So let's copy this, paste this here, and instead of global, we're going to say commands locally, just or per guild, but locally will do. And then instead of just client, we're then going to say process.env.guild ID. Now I'm going to show you where you get your guild ID from, and we're going to store it in our .env file. So underneath that, console.log, and that should be good. I think that's looking right. We then just want to catch this, so we want to say catch, and if we get an error come through, console.error error. And that should be, well, we'll say if error. If the error is valid, then console.error the error. There we go. And that is how we actually register our command. So that should be set. So the ping command is now here. So we now need to fill this out. So if we're going to basically get our builder. So we're going to say slash command builder. I'm going to set this equal to require. And it's the @discord/builders, which we set before. We're going to get the slash command builder. Basically, this just makes it easier for us. We're then going to get module.exports, and this is what we're actually going to export to our bot, basically. So here is what we're going to send. And we're going to set data, which will be equal to a new slash command builder, which we don't actually need that. We then say dot set name, which is going to be ping, and then set description, which will be pong. That's fair. And that's all we need to do for our actual data. So all we're saying here is basically, let's just bring this up a little. Oh, no, it looks better. I don't know. We're just going to say data, and basically this just sets up a new command for us. So it says, hey, there's a new command. Make sure you actually use it. Asynchronous, and then we're going to have an execute, which won't be message, it will be interaction, because we're going to be using slash commands. We also need to set a comma here, because it's actually inside of a object. And then in execute, we're just going to say interaction.reply pong. And that's it. That's all we need to do for the execution. Now we can also say content here, and we can actually use a lot more here. So this is how we set stuff up. So you can set the name for it, the description. You can also set like options, aliases, and all that sort of thing. But for now, we're just going to set the name, and that's all we need. So let's close that, and let's actually run this, I believe. So if we go here and we say not slash, we just bring open our console. We could say npm run def, and it should now start the bot. Hopefully Ghost is online. It did not say successfully registered commands locally. Let's try save. Oh, I'll tell you what, we need to actually call this by putting through the comma here and that. And there we go, we're actually getting an error here. So method not allowed, 405, run handler requests. Where is it? 405, mesh not allowed, put of undefined, HP. Oh, something's coming through undefined, which is fine. Let's figure this out. So this is correct. So commands.file. Let's have a look. It might be my ping here. So we got our new / command builder. We then have required Discord.js builders, which is correct. Module.xbox.js set name, which is ping. Set description, which is pong. Async execute, which is going to say interaction, parse interaction reply, and pong. Okay, guys, so I think I know what it is. It's inside of the ready function here, inside of rest.put. For the actual guild one, we actually need to make sure this specifically says application guild commands, like that. And this should also be commands here, because we're registering multiple commands. So that should now work. Let's give this a try. And, oh, I think there's a different error now. Invalid form body guild, undefined, it's not a snowflake. Where is this at? 43.5. So let's go 43. Guild commands. No, let's just save and see if that fixes it, because I don't know if it actually refreshed. No, cool. So client ID, process. I tell you what, we're missing our .env guild. So if we go to our .env file, I will be resetting the token, do not worry. And guild ID, we're going to set that equal to, and to get the guild ID, we need to go into our server, right click on your name up here, copy ID, go to our file and hit paste, and that should be our actual ID. Close that, save this, so hopefully now this should run. There you go, registered commands locally. And now if we go back to our area, you can see Ghost Online. If we do /, we could say, as you can see, ping, hit enter, but nothing's actually going to happen because we need to actually, yeah, see, the interaction failed. Now let me show you why. So if we go back, we've registered the command, but we're not actually calling it anywhere. We're not checking for any sort of interaction. So underneath our ready, we want to say client.on, and then we're going to say interaction create. We're then going to make an asynchronous function which will pass through the interaction. Actually added a slide here, but I do not need it. And that's now one too many. And then what we need to do is basically just say if the interaction dot is command is not a command, we're just going to say return. So we'll basically just check in. If it's not a command, return. We're then going to say const command is equal to client.commands.get interaction.command name, just like this. So what we're saying here is we're basically going to check our, we're going to see if it's a command. If it's a / command, then we're going to check if we actually have this command. So we're going to say if not command, return. And then finally, we'll just say try and catch again, and we'll just say await. And we're going to say command.execute, and we will pass through our interaction just like that. So just like, or yeah, just like how we did, how we sell it here. So we pass through this execute command, or this whole thing, into our commands. And now we're going to get that command, and we're going to execute the method we have stored. Now, if that errors or something goes wrong, we'll get an error. We'll say if error console.error. But then we also need to basically just say await interaction reply. An error occurred. We actually need to make sure this is, so we need to go like this. We need to say content. Let's break this down. And then we're going to use something that makes it only visible to you, which is called m there you go, m-ferrel. M-ferrel, I don't know how you pronounce that, but basically this option, setting it to true, means this reply will only be visible to the person who executed the command originally. So you won't have to show everyone that there was an error, you just show the user there was an error. You can also, when you call a command, so inside a ping, we can also do that here. So if we wanted this to only be available to, let's say, you, so only you can see, you could say content is equal to pong. Let's break this down as well. We can then say m-ferrel. I can never remember how you spell it. M-ferrel. This one is true, and obviously don't forget our select there. Now, if we save here, hopefully it should all reload good. And now our interaction is done. He's online, but he did not register the commands. Obviously, you don't need to because we already registered the commands. Maybe that's why it hasn't done it. Let's see. Let's go back here, dismiss this, and then let's go ping, pong. And now that has been ponged. So we now get a ping and a pong. Now, hopefully, if we go back here, it didn't show us an error. If we just go, if we comment this and just say throw a new error, command is not implemented. There we go. There you go. And that registered at that time. Now, if we go back in, we do /ping, an error occurred while executing that command. Although it does not look like it is only, oh yeah, it threw the error there, that's fine. That's what we actually asked it to do. But it does not look like this is actually working how it should. Ephemeral? I spelled that wrong. Should it? I don't know how you spell it. I added an M early on. There we go. So you don't need the, I spelled it wrong. And that was my bad. Let's also change it from here. There's no M there. Save. Now, hopefully, if we go back and we do /ping, or not /ping, pong. But you can see only you can see this. Obviously, it's errored because we hid the error. So let's unhide. Let's now allow it to happen and just remove that line. Hit save. Okay, the bot finally restarted. That took a minute, but now we can go back to here. And if we just say /ping, this is only visible to me, so no one else can see this command being run, but you can see it has been running and it has gave us the pong reply. So that's all cool, but what if we want to actually say, what if we want a new command? So let's say we want another command, so let's create a new file, let's call it echo.js. So what we're going to do with echo.js is let's go into ping and copy everything here and paste it in so we don't have to rewrite it. We can then say set name to echo, and this will say echoes your input. But then we need to say, so let's break this down so we can have .set name, .set description, but we can also say .add string option. And this will be whatever we want it to be. So we can say, well, this should just be that. And then we can actually say .set name, which will be your message. So we'll just say message. We can then set description, which will be the message to echo. And finally, we'll just set required to true, because we've got to make sure they are putting an input. If they do not, then we're going to have an issue. So that should hopefully be good. Add string option. I actually done this wrong slightly. So add string option, and this should actually go in here as a command. So we're going to say option hyphen, and then we can break this down and say option paste. There we go. That should now work. And there you go. That's formatted correctly. So we actually get an option, we create a arrow function, which we then use this option. So this will loop through all the string options. And you can then basically set name, set message, description, and set the required to true. And now this should hopefully be available. So what we're going to do is we're going to say content, and we're going to say echo. Or we won't actually say echo. Instead, what we're going to say is interaction. Oh, I spelled interaction wrong. I wondered why it looked weird. Interaction dot options dot get string option message. And that should, or get string, sorry, not get string option. Just get string, that's what the option's for. It'd be weird if you kept repeating it. And then we get the message. So hopefully, if we open up our thing and we go back to bot and our command's been registered locally. So let's go back and let's go slash echo. And you can see here it's asking us for our message. So let's say hello world, hit enter. You can see it's replied with hello world, and we can only see this again. So there you go, guys. That is how we build a slash commands handler, also with our first slash commands implemented. And that is that for this tutorial. But in the next one, guys, we're actually going to look at doing an event handler. So currently in our bot, you can see it's kind of looking a bit ugly now. We have a bunch of different functions. We're getting our commands here. We then got this ready event, and we got this interaction create. Now there's going to be a lot more events we need to handle. So we're going to basically create an actual handler that will handle all the events we actually need. And hopefully then we can actually have a neater looking bot file, basically. So it just looks neat and it's easier to handle. So everything will be split off into its own files. So guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and leave a comment if you have any questions. If I skipped over something or I forgot to explain something, just ask me in the comments and I'm happy to give you an explanation or tell you what you want to know, hopefully, if I can. But guys, thank you for watching this video, and peace out.